You want details? Fine. I drive a Ferrari 355 Cabriolet. What's up? I have a ridiculous house in the South Fork. I have every toy you can possibly imagine. And best of all, kids, I am liquid. So, now you
is lifeadvicerr@gmail.com. All right. We had a lot of follow-up to the basketball player who lied. Oh my God. Kyle's got the John Lennon shades going today. But are you wearing a leather jacket too?
Problem? No, it's a flannel.
Oh, okay. No, there's no problem.
It's a good look, Kyle, actually. I kind of like it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We had a lot of follow-up. It definitely leaned towards you have to tell the sister. People were even more aggressive about their advice than our advice on that one. One thing I have noticed that we get every now and then is when somebody tells us, oh, the point you missed. You're like, yeah. Most of the time, I think we got it covered. And there's a lot of times, too, it'll be like the point you missed. It's like, actually, we did say that. So.
Wait, what is the suggestion that we missed?
Don't give it any light. Don't give it any light.
No.
Don't
I'm not even going to. Because it was a point you missed that Kyle, I think, forwarded me out of annoyance. Because we definitely made the point. And it's kind of like the book stuff. Like, hey, what was that book you mean the one I mentioned on the pod you just hit rewind button on? That one? Yeah, that was the book we mentioned.
Yeah, instead of getting into my DM so I could then just listen back, guy. I got timestamps in there.
Or just follow Russillo Book Club on Twitter.
Totally.
There you go.
Follow Russillo Book Club on Twitter.
Russillo Book Club on Twitter, which I have nothing to do with. Those guys put in the work. Okay.
People were asking, by the way, if you've seen. I had a couple people in my DMs whether or not you've seen the memes account, the Russillo memes account. I'm like, yeah, you've seen it on Twitter. I had a guy because there's an Instagram account too. I don't know if you've seen that one, but yes, you have seen the Russillo memes Twitter account.
Wow.
The Russilloverse has exploded. Thanks to everyone.
Yeah. That's a mess. No, I retweeted it because of the Cerruti thing, liking feminine 170-pound guys. We just found out about
also
a new
Nancy
guy.
Kerrigan Kyle one, yeah.
Yeah, the Nancy Kerrigan.
Great job by you.
Right. The Russillo meme account was funny. You know, it's a slow build. You know, there's not a ton, but you know, I like it. It's very grassroots. I like that about this podcast. You know, we don't go out seeking. We just the people talk. There you go. All right.
Next stop, tank tops. Let's go.
Okay. All right. Here we go. This guy is admitting that he does lie. So we're not going to read everybody's follow-ups. We appreciate all the follow-ups, as always, the interest. And most of you guys nailed it. Some of you guys are like really aggressive about it. Like you go right back and walk in the house and tell your sister, this guy's a liar. Nah, I think there's a more delicate way to handle that. Okay, here we go. 58195, getting a little chubby. I'll work on it. Latest episode made me think of my younger days, and now I need advice on how to handle the lie I molded as a young kid. First, let me say I might have fudged things, but I'm not out stealing some guy's name. Okay. The main heart of the story is there are people in my life who legit believe I was an all-state football player in high school because, well, I've offhanded said I'm an all-state athlete, and they know I played football.
Okay.
Well, yeah, so they think you're an all-state football player because you fucking told them that you were.
Right. It's like a rumor flying around.
Yeah,
telling people this.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't love the start of this email because he's like, well, it's not like I stole somebody's name, but here's kind of where we're at. A lot of people think I'm an all-state football player, and they may have thought that because I have mentioned that I was an all-state athlete and I played football. I'm like, oh, well, I think we solved the case. I was pretty good at football at a small school, but was rarely, if not ever, the best player on the field. The truth is, I was only ever all-district, and my all-state honors was get this, Jesus Christ, dude, was get this middle school track. Yeah, it isn't even a real thing, but we went down to a statewide tournament and ran a relay and got the medal, so it said all-state. So I said, fuck it, good enough for me. All right. I, too, have an all-whatever relay track medal when I was 13. The last time I mentioned it is I was 13. So that you wrote this in the email is also concerning, too. That, hey, the only thing I was all-state in was a relay when we were junior high. Middle school, right? Okay. I have in the last couple of years stopped outright saying I was an all-state athlete. Well, that's good. And when people ask about football, I often give a story about some certain player, just list some stats. Doesn't come up often, and who cares? My problem is every few months somebody new comes along, like one or two people will be like, "Oh yeah, so and so was." I'm leaving out the name here. Was all-state in high school, and now I'm like, "Yeah, well, small school, no biggie," and just move it along. The nice part is if I'm out playing flag football, doing pickup hoops, I hold my own and at least give the illusion of somebody who could have been a previous athlete. But do I go back and tell these people, hey, I was lying? Do I just keep brushing it off and eventually stop being brought up as I get older? All right. Well, look, you wrote the email. You're calling yourself out, so you deserve credit for that. I would not actually be like, hey, everybody, I need to tell you something. I'm not an all-state football player. I would downplay it every time, kind of like you're saying here. I don't think this is that hard. Just you need to phase it out in your own way. And as people get older, I really doubt they're going to be introducing you as a former all-state football player.
Yeah, I think this is you got it out there. You told people anonymously. Maybe that's a nice way to outlet that, and just keep it going until, never ever bring it up and always downplay it. And yeah, it's simple. And you can just feel gross by yourself and nobody will know except for us three.
Yeah, and you haven't gotten caught up in a massive lie like the last week's or last episode's emailer did. So I mean, it's not worthy of like a Facebook post or an Instagram post being like, "Hey guys, actually, I'm not an all-state athlete." Just people are gonna stop talking about it if you stop talking about it. So just don't bring it up.
Yeah, don't bring it up. Like that's your punishment. You have to actually start saying, you know what, I wasn't really that good.
Yeah, nobody's gonna walk into a room and be like, "Hey, that's that former all-state athlete." Like no one cares. No one's gonna talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, you guys must be pretty young, right? I mean, did we go back?
So for him to just recently stop talking about it, I mean, you got to be fresh out of college, if not still in it, right?
Yeah, these guys have to be pretty young. Yeah, you're right, Cerruti. Trust us on this one. As you get older,
no one cares.
Hey, is Allstate coming tonight?
Check tape.
The only thing. Did you make high school all-star team, Cerruti, for football?
No, I actually broke my ankle my senior year.
You were pretty good though, weren't you?
I was like a quick slot receiver type guy, but I was, I don't know. I wasn't going to make all-state by any means.
Okay. No, I thought, I just remember a couple people, because you were from the area around Bristol, like, oh, so he's a pretty good athlete. I would add this as a potential other scenario. Is there any chance the other people all know that he's lying and their punishment on him is never addressing it, but making sure they always bring it up to introduce it, then to see how he reacts?
That'd be great.
Because I do think that is a possibility that he needs to think about.
Keep your eyes open, dude. See if there's any chuckles.
It wasn't like he played at Bama or something. Like, hey, meet our buddy.
So wait, he was an all-state athlete that didn't actually play in college? Probably is what his story is, right?
Yeah, but that's totally plausible. I mean, if you're at a small
academics, yeah.
Well, on top of that, what division are we talking in some of these states? They can be all state at a bad division and still not even play
Section C or something. Yeah.
Right. So, okay. Here's one. Becoming Russillo, 62270. Just got a Y membership. I may be becoming Ryen Russillo. I used to love going out in college, and a couple years after that, I'm in the rare situation where I'm still in my college town. Did it. And still have most of my core group of friends here as well. On top of that, become good friends with two dudes I've worked with that also like to tie one on. Not bad for a post-college social life, right? Yeah, man. Here's the thing. Since COVID, I found I have detested the bars. Lately, I've opted for setting up multiple TVs in my living room and watching games all day instead of hanging out with my buddies. I'll straight up lie to them saying I'm busy when in reality I have nothing going on. This is starting to get close to home. If you told me I turned into this 3 years ago, I would have freaked out. However, I haven't regretted not socializing. I do a morning news radio show and call high school football and basketball games, and I'm just dead by the end of the week. So you're doing morning news every day? No wonder you don't want to go out. It's so hard. It's so hard. I mean, I did it for 3 months where I got up and did morning radio, and I was like, man, I'd love to maybe never have to do this again. It is tough. It is a lifestyle and it's a commitment, and it sucks. Also, my fiance is the shy type whose college friends moved away, so we don't have a sort of couple social circle. My question is this. Should this be a red flag? Should I put the urge aside of watching games on a free Friday or Saturday because it's ultimately more important that I have fun with my friends instead of seeing if my Alabama Texas A&M basketball bet hits? I'm also thinking of getting out of radio. All right, we get a lot here. Would I have the desire to socialize if I'm not getting up at 4 a.m, 5 days per week? All right, Cerruti, I love your advice on how to make friends as a couple. The Kyle workout partner situation, dark horse top media personality story of 2022. Okay, all right. Look, part of it is you're getting up every day because, like I said, I did it, and then when I would try to go out on a Friday, it was like fumes. Like all you want to do is go back to bed. I would say that if you're in your 20s here, which it sounds like you are, and you still have the option. I mean, some people just get over it at a very young age. Some people just go, you know what? I don't want to go out. I want to go to bed early. I want to feel good in the morning. And that's not really anyone's. I mean, honestly, it's the better thing to do. I mean, who are we kidding? But it sounds like your friends like you and you like your friends. So just be very wary of the full hermit mode. All right. Because once you start going down that road and you're never returning the calls, and then you're always the guy that never wants to hang out, those calls are going to stop. So I think, friendships are a lot like anything else. You have to invest a little bit of time in them. And I will tell you, I just straight up regret not being more forceful about friendships with guys that I'm still very close with and keep in contact with. But hey, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? I turned it all down forever. I turned it all down because I was like, no, game's on. No, got to work. And I had a justification because they're like, dude, the guy watches a million fucking games. This is what he does. This is how he does the job. Probably shouldn't have done it this way, whatever. But the calls will stop happening. So you're asking about getting out of radio on top of everything else. I don't. That's a separate fucking email altogether. I don't know your job. I don't know your goals. I don't know how much money you're making. It sounds like you have the support of your fiance when you have one of these morning things. When I did mornings for like 3 months, I was like, I might as well just get married, I guess. Because if I'm going to do this for multiple years, I might as well get married. And I want to have somebody else here to make sure I wake up on the random day that I might not, like, I'll just miss the alarm. Like, Mike and Mike for 20 years having to make sure the alarm never goes wrong. Like, Cerruti, how long did you work on that show?
A year. And
did you go out on Fridays?
I tried, but I was definitely, because what I would do is I would break up the sleep into 2 parts, which I've actually now read is like maybe what you should do. I don't know. We've digressed.
I did that, and I mean, it sucked.
It made
Every
me feel
day was
miserable. So I would sleep because I like to watch games, and so I'd sleep. I'd go to bed at like 11 or midnight, and I'd wake up at like 3:30. Shower, get in for like 4:15, and then I'd come home at like 1 p.m. and I'd take a nap from like 1:30 to 5. Wake up for dinner. Sometimes it would be in 6, and then games would be on again. So, but the problem is like I never had any like free time. I never had a life. All I was doing was watching games, sleeping, and working on Mike and Mike. So that was a year. I was absolutely miserable. I was also vitamin D deficient because I never saw the sun because it was the most, winters here in Connecticut.
Serious Twilight vibes.
Yeah, that's actually kind of when I got that nickname, which was a bummer. So it actually really was. So I would say it definitely has to do with the schedule. Like I didn't want to go out, and it sucked because I was in my early mid-20s, and like we had the good West Hartford crew going, and I just kind of like
Grants was absolutely peak Grants.
Yeah. But, it was a good career opportunity, so we did it. It's fine. But I did it for a year, and I was definitely happy, not because of the show or anything, but just because of the lifestyle to be out of that. The other part of this guy's email that's interesting is the fiance-wife aspect. So I'm kind of like a no new friends guy. I've got a core group from high school, some guys from college.
Like
and
Drake
not that
over
I'm
here.
not that I'm like mean or like dismissive of new people and new guys that I meet, but I'm just not like going to go out of my way to be friends with them. And my wife is a big time extrovert. Like she's the center of attention in every room, which is great. And so you kind of need that to make more friends or to go out. And she'll tell me like, stop being a hermit, stop, like get off the couch, stop watching Premier League soccer all day. I'm like, let's go out. So she's kind of motivated me to be more active. So you kind of need that. So I kind of hate to say it, but you've got like a double-edged thing where it's kind of killing you both ways here with not only like the lifestyle, but the fiance also kind of being an introvert.
Yeah, you got to force yourself to do it because I'm bad with it. Like last night's a perfect example. I was like, there's only 2 games. You've been locked in however many of the last few nights. I already wrote out everything. And then I was like, man, AD looks pretty good. Next thing you know, it's 7 o'clock. And I was like, well, I got to watch at least the first half and see if Minnesota and Golden State. I was like, oh, I need a tight one. 2 of my favorite teams to watch. And I was like, well, I'll write out another open, And next thing you know, I'm watching Ray Donovan. It's 10:30. I'm going to bed. So
it's a good thing you don't play computer games.
No, last night was going to be a night where I was going to like, you know what? Let's leave the house. Let's go do something. Called called no one, and ended up watching the only 2 games that were on. And of course, Friday, I don't want to miss the games because Friday's like, I don't know. Friday NBA games always feel like the most important games to watch. Let's try to sneak in one more here. Do we answer anything there? I think we did.
I don't think so. But Kyle kind of brought up a quick point. You should play Call of Duty or FIFA or something and get on with your friends, because that's how I hang out with most of my friends a lot without actually going out.
I'm going to guess most of my guys aren't in the online community.
Probably not.
All right. I think this one's pretty simple. We'll just do it because this guy seems super motivated. I just want to bring up the idea of what this guy did. Feel free to use names, places, etc. No, none of the other 4 listen to the podcast. Dude, are you sure?
Right.
5'11", 158, 22, swimmer's body, and naturally tan. Check attached photo. So this guy decided to include a picture of him in a Speedo in his shower. We do not want this long term. It's just
No
a
good.
statement. No, it's a position here from the podcast from this day forth. I appreciate you giving us the full scope of the story here, but it actually, as I read the email, has nothing to do. So I was like, all right, we got a guy selfie Speedo in his shower. He's in great shape. He's in great shape. He is tan. He's not lying. 5'11",
But that's
158.
why we do the stats. It leaves a little to the imagination. Wow, I wonder what 5'9", 230 looks like. You know, you don't have to show us.
I would tell you 5'11", 158 isn't the classic swimmer's body.
I feel like a guy that opens with swimmer's body and tan, though, is the guy that's going to send you a picture in the email every time.
That picture's going to a lot of people.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with what he's asking. Nothing.
We better get to it.
All right. Simple question. What is y'all's take on itemizing down to the dollar on group vacations? I'm with 4 other college friends. UNC. He said, do it. Look, this guy does not care. He wants everyone to know every name. He wants people to know about this. Maybe that's the whole point. We're being used for an itemization dispute on a vacation. They had a week-long vacation in Hawaii. We've been there. Oh, wait, they're there now. Maybe that's what the picture is. I don't know. Like, what's the date on this email? Because sometimes
it does
it's
tie
delayed.
in.
All right, this is a very recent one. We've been here 2 days and gotten an argument over itemizing each item on the grocery list. E.g., I should separately pay for the ice cream since I'm the only one eating it. So they're saying you pay for your ice cream. We all just graduated college. 2 believe that we should itemize a trip, make over 100K. A couple years older, the 2 other guys and me make closer to 60, 65K a year, I imagine, obviously. And we believe itemizing causes more conflict than simply everyone paying equal share, even if we don't use everything equally. Another example, fruit is my favorite food. So I bought, well, you're a swimmer, dude. Obviously, you love your fruit. Fruit is my favorite food. Bought 3 cartons of blueberries, 3 cartons of strawberries, along with some bananas. The 2 guys who want to itemize want to charge me fully for the fruit instead of contributing literally $3 to $4. Well, raspberries. Well, you didn't buy any raspberries, though. They can be expensive every now and then, like $5 for an organic little bin of these guys. To me, it's not about the money at all. It's a principle. I put a lot of my salary in investments. Congrats on your portfolio. But I still have money for this trip, and it's ridiculous they want to take time to charge me more because I eat more of certain things, drink more, etc. Hawaii is dope, by the way. The picture has nothing to do with it. We're talking about fruit fucking charges. And all right, I am not a big everybody go through, but if that's what somebody would want to do, I would be like, all right, we're going to do it. Well, here's what happens is the guys who want to itemize win. They win. Because normally I'm like, I just don't want to argue with you over these things. And if that means then I'm only paying for my stuff, then I'm only paying for my stuff. So losing the argument isn't really a loss. It's not that big of a deal. We've talked about this forever. This is not new. There's usually always one person that's going to try to take advantage of the let's just all chip in. We had a golf trip once, and then we found out after the fact that one of the guys that got in on the golf trip didn't have any money after the fact. So when it was time to settle up, he's like, hey, things are a little tough. Do you mind if I kind of like hit you with 2 installments? And it was like, you know what would have been great is access to that information before we booked a fucking Airbnb and paid for everything and all the food and all the booze for like 4 days. Like we all thought we were going to square up at the end when we cleaned up the place, and you're telling us you're doing an Affirm deal with us, like
You put a boys trip on layaway. Come on.
Yeah, and you'll be like, hey, things have been a little tough. You know what? Normally when things are tough, the guy tells his buddies ahead of time that he can't make the trip. But we're only talking about fruit here. So what I think you've done is you found a way to send us a picture of you with your clothes off. And it worked. Because there's no way, like, I agree with you. I would say, who gives a shit? Just buy your own fruit then. Who cares? Like, move on. You're in Hawaii.
Yeah, that stuff. I mean, you've heard about my sliced cheese debacles, and there was other stuff that came back to me in the Potsdam Price Chopper or the IGA or whatever. But like when it was clear that some stuff was going to be like, well, I don't drink milk. I'm doing a coffee no milk thing, and it's like, all right, I guess we won't get milk for all of us, and I'll have to fucking sneak back here later, or I'll have 2 carts, and like that's what it comes down to. It's like I'll go buy the sliced cheese later, or I'll do it in my little carry-on bag that's just for me, and then that's just what it is when everything comes together, and it's like you just don't want any problem items in that thing. Like most of us were cool, but there's 2 guys that have a problem with the particular style of cheese. So guess what? We did that cheese separately. We didn't go without. You don't have to go without your strawberries. Just don't put it on that conveyor belt with everybody else's stuff if you don't want to have to be nickel and dimed and have to read receipts and get highlighters out. You just might need 2 trips.
In the titling of this story, can you title Kyle's Dairy Rant? Because you're right though. Like all the different, but the thing about it though is there is always one person that, whether it's like he's the youngest of 4 and he had 3 older sisters. So even if he's telling you like, oh yeah, cool, whatever, like his life has only been just fucking taking whatever he wants. All right. Or maybe there's not that every only child is like this, but I've noticed, at least with girlfriends that are only children, there's always a little bit of like, wait, like I don't know if that's the move. And again, we could use 100 different examples here, but as the group expands, Sapiens, right? As the group expands, there's always going to be one person trying to take advantage of it. So maybe these guys had a bad experience before, and that's why they want to itemize everything. But, if somebody were to say, it's almost like a dinner. I'm not a huge family style guy. I don't want to be, going around like I want my dinner. I don't want to share it with anybody. It's my dinner. You have your dinner. I don't want yours. If you want to give me a bite or whatever, fine. But like, I don't want shit all over the plate. I don't want you asking for a bite of this if we don't have that kind of relationship. But if somebody said, hey, we're getting this house together, but everybody be in charge of your own groceries, I'd be like, all right, fine. I don't care. I'll just buy my own groceries. But if I see you in my blueberries, now we're going to have an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to Kyle and Steve, Life Advice participants. That guy's going to have a great week in Hawaii. I can tell you right now. I think that's it. I think that covers it. And then we're going to have a Super Bowl matchup on Monday. We'll be all over it. Fired up. A lot more football to come as well. Some hoops. So please subscribe. And thanks. Russillo Podcast right here on Spotify.